What's going on, fam? It's the entertainer, the motivator, the educator, Lucky Murray, and I am back with another CHH Today. And guys, I wanted to drop a video a few days ago, but I was super busy. I am directing an after-school program for a local community here in my city that I stay in now, in South Carolina. So I was busy with that, but a few things popped off, and I'm gonna get to those things. But I wanted to put something out tonight because I had a theory. I had a particular thing I wanted to talk about, and probably gonna be on my next podcast. But speaking of podcasts, before I get to what I want to talk about, if you haven't checked out my podcast, the Lucky Murray podcast, I'm 13 weeks in, 13 weeks deep. So please click the link below. That will take you to my podcast center where you can get my podcast in multiple places. Shout out to Anchor, who has made that happen. But not talking about my podcast, not talking about anything extra or my music that I'm releasing soon. But I want to get into Thi'sl. This house I shall live. I think I got the acronym right. If I didn't, please excuse me. That's not the important part. Now, the crew, hip hop corner. Shout out to the crew. Anyway, it's funny because the crew is now one person. So Chris dropped out of the crew apparently. So now it's just Jay. So shout out to Jay, just putting that out there, just reporting it, and I saw it and I wanted to marinate on it. I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to digest it real quick because he reported that Thi'sl is stopped rapping, or Thi'sl is retiring from rapping. Shout out to Jay, man. Jay be on Twitter super hard, man. He finds the news, he reports to you. A lot of times I don't even say nothing because he reported, he does so well. Why reinvent the wheel? But I have some theories here, and if you haven't heard, Thi'sl, yes, Thi'sl has apparently stopped rapping, or he has retired. So Thi'sl said, so people have started with the Thi'sl, I'm unfollowing and not supporting you until you stop tweeting about race issues tweets. Let me bring you up to speed. I stopped rapping months ago for that same reason. I will not be captive to a chick's drugs. And then Thi'sl came back with a thread and said, so y'all can have that, I'm done talking. He put up Proverbs 31:89, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and helpless and see that they get justice. And then Thi'sl followed that up with, I will not be silenced because I'm afraid I'll get uninvited to your youth group concert, conference, festival, or any of your other events that you don't want me at because I refuse to assimilate. I think that's what it is, excuse me, to a Western European idea of Christianity. I'm good, love, enjoy. And then he followed up with the last tweet. He said, unfollow these drugs, 10 people will come when you leave because people are tired of hungry for genuine, authentic Christianity. Be mad at me all you want because I want for myself and others to be treated with the dignity that they are due, being created by God's image. And I'm gonna stop right there. Apparently, and I said this in a few videos, Thi'sl has been on ground zero when Ferguson happened. Thi'sl was out there in the community fighting it, and we haven't heard it on a national level because, let's face it, that's Ferguson, that's in St. Louis in Missouri, and a lot of things that happens on ground zero, you're not gonna hear about it, but you're gonna hear about the overall national efforts that's being done in Ferguson. And that's when Ferguson had the police killings and the riots and the brutality that the Ferguson police was treating with African American males. And I think Thi'sl just got fed up with that because people, like I said, okay, Jay said this, I'm gonna say this too. Christian hip hop, for the demographics that buys the records, that bring us out, and that pay really good money to see us perform, is the more so white evangelical Christians. Let's face it, if you go to a youth conference, The ones that gonna pay really well are the evangelical conferences, not necessarily the gospel conferences, and more so gospels meaning black, but they can pay. But yeah, if you want to cross over to the CCM side, that's where the money's at. But that's neither here or there. But you have to understand, when you are a top CHH artist, you are mostly being invited to these particular church functions or organizations. The people that do have the money to pay for, like I said, your booking fees, your booking calls, they can fulfill your rider. They can do all these different things that, hey, make doing Christian hip hop a very livable lifestyle. So Thi'sl was tired of that. And when you do music for a particular audience, and when you start talking about race issues, let's keep it 100. I'm not saying that all white people do not understand the gap or the racial divide in our country, but a lot of white people cannot. Let me say this, and I don't want to offend my white brothers and sisters, because in the end of the day, the kingdom of God, none of this matters, but we live in a world where it does, especially in our country that's super divided right now because of racial issues and things that have not been dealt with for hundreds of years. A lot of our brothers, especially Caucasian brothers, cannot identify or even know that racism even exists, and they're oblivious to it. So when artists like Thi'sl is talking about, hey, people need to be treated equally, this particular race is being left out of the equation of the American pie, and I'm trying to fight for the people that are voiceless, people can get very irritated with that. Like, bro, I understand that the gospel, it is above and beyond racism. Jesus overcame the world, so that means he overcame racism. What is the big deal? Excuse me. And I just want to caution you that for people that do have that attitude, and again, I'm not saying everybody has that attitude. There's a lot of our brothers that do sympathize with us when it comes to the struggle, and sees and mostly but witness, that's the word I'm trying to say right now, witness these different things that are happening in the black community as far as police brutality, systematic racism, and there are many other things that we as black people in America get the short end of the stick. Now, as a Christian hip hop artist, when your audience is mostly white, that becomes a problem, because they do not want you to talk about these different issues that really do not affect them personally. So Thi'sl get these tweets and he lashes out like, look, I'm done rapping because these different things. Now, mind you, Thi'sl's pretty straight. He's been putting in work as far as the St. Louis area, and that's why I tell you, artists all the time, especially if you are starting out, get a local following. Be implanted in your community, because this music is not forever, and when it stops, you can do other things that are important to you. You don't have to be an artist that is touring when you're 65, 70 years old. You know, KJ52, dope MC, but KJ is still touring. KJ is trying to find different ways to supplement income, because like I said, it's rough. He's been just doing music, and when the music stops, you know, when the paycheck stops, he still has to make money. And there's no shot with KJ52, but man, if you don't plan for a rainy day, if you don't continue to look ahead, you'll be 65 years old still touring, jumping up down stages, doing youth events. And I'm pretty sure you want to evolve from being the rapper that just jumps around on stage doing youth events. So I come back here to say that, why do I think Thi'sl quit? I think that a lot of artists has to realize two things. One, you have to make music that is true to yourself, whether it gets you a check or not. A lot of artists, they go after these big youth groups. They go after these different fan bases that do pay. And once you get into the evangelical side of things, you could make a pretty great living. Trust me, Lecrae said that there's more money in the Christian side than it is in the secular side. Read his book. I suggest you do. So I think that the disadvantage with that, instead of building your own fan base to cultivate what you're trying to project in your music, is the fact that you have to make music that fits that demographics. I'm sorry to say, if they're not happy with the product, they're not going to buy. Subsequently, you're not going to have the money and the funds to support your family. Is it right? No, it's not right, but it's economics, okay? If, let's say Madden drops off one year with their football game and it's horrible, it's trash, it's supposed to be simulation football, but we get simulation tennis, people are not going to buy that game, and then those people are probably not going to buy the next year game out of protest of the last game that was put out. So Madden is put in a situation like, look, we still have to pay bills. We put all this money into this game. We're not recuperating anything back. What's going on? Same thing when you're an artist or entertainer. You have a fan base. You have to put music out that they like. If they don't like it, you don't eat. And shout out to Thi'sl for speaking up, man, because a lot of people would not speak up. They would just in private say these things, but in public still have this persona like, look at me, I'm all for it, Team Jesus, when people are hurting. And I think the ultimate goal, guys, is to get people to see the gospel, but also sympathize with what our brothers and sisters are going through in this world. Like, even in this racial divide, it's worldwide, bro. It's not just in America, but even our brothers and sisters overseas that are being killed, man, for the faith. It's crazy. And I think that we should just stay true to the music that we do, and no matter who it affects, no matter if we get a paycheck or not, we're doing what God has called us to do. And I think more artists should be transparent from the get-go. So that means that if you are cultivating your own audience, if the youth groups don't call you back, it's cool, because you don't need the youth groups. You already done develop your own brand, your own people. And like I said, man, some people are not meant to just rap for youth groups. Thi'sl never was one of them. Love Thi'sl, man, love his grittiness, but I think that it's time for him to go outside the church, man, and really make an impact. Love to hear what you think. Not here, because I can't hear you, but I would love to read what you think, man. Do you think that Thi'sl should start rapping, man? Comment below. Do you think that, oh man, like, why is Thi'sl talking? Please comment below. Do you think this is a relevant issue in Christian hip hop? Comment below. And also, guys, I need your help. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please think about supporting my podcast. If you go to the link below, it will give you a option to support it. Guys, this will help me tremendously continue to do videos, but also brand out my podcast so I can get bigger features, so I can be doing a lot more different things, man. Like I said, I got some things in the pipeline working just yet, but I don't want to release the information because I don't want to jinx it. So again, it has been the entertainer, the motivator, the educator, Lucky Murray, and please don't forget all three. That's 1, 2. Lucky Murray, and I'm back with another CHH Today. And Thi'sl, salute you for speaking up. I think as a Christian body as a whole, we have got to have the stance that we have to lock arms, because a saying said that if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. Until next time, people.